Hello, everyone. Chuck G Violin is back. And today I want to kind of show you a few of the more advanced editing tools in the Designer in action, so to speak. Okay, so this is a golf course that I've been working on for a little while. I like it very much so far. And I have gone back and forth with how to bunker this golf course. Originally, I had a lot of very fancy shapes with, a lot of fingers, a lot of like puzzle piece bunkers, things like that. And then I was like, no, let's go to something more just natural looking, like a lot of these like kind of not pot bunkers, but just, sunken bunkers. And then I was like, no, let's go to something more like just natural waste areas and stuff like this. So that's what we did. In doing so, I had to use a lot of the tools of this game that are a little more advanced. Some of the, selection things. Like here, I've kind of already done this area. This bunker sucks. I'll fix that later. Don't really like that either. But you know what we can do to fix that real quick? We're going to do this, and then something like that. And then we're going to put some dirt. And now it kind of looks like two bunkers. Ta-da! So I'm going for a little bit more of like a messy look here with the bunkers. Number 8 has always been kind of my go-to hole for, looking at, seeing what this stuff looks like. And this is what it's going to look like on every hole eventually. There'll be some grass. Part of this is obviously, I watched the Open at Shinnecock last week. So it got me just kind of using this kind of bunker instead of something a little bit more polished, which this golf course is not. It's one of those, I call it a dirty golf course. It's just got a lot of this scrub kind of stuff like this. So let's talk about how we went about doing this. So first off, I want to make sure I got my cart path. Whoops, didn't want to do that. So you got to be a little careful when you're trying to select something that you are selecting what you mean to select. So this cart path is not very good, so we will fix that. But what I want to do is we're going to make all of this, I'm going to keep the same bunkers, but we're going to make all of it more of a natural area rather than, something that just looks a little bit more defined. I want to not really define it so much. So what we will do, and this area needs, some more of this natural area to put down. So let's do that first. So we're going to go to terrain painting. We're going to use a spline. We're going to turn the intensity down under 70%. Something like that is good. And then we're going to do this. And we're just going to kind of come in here. I don't want to... like put this over where these bunkers are going to be. And now I'm just going to follow this cart path. And I'll show you why in a minute, why I don't want to cover the existing bunkers. Smooth that. Okay, so I'll fix this up later, but I don't want to get sidetracked from our video. Okay, so like if I had covered all of these bunkers and I went to go put my sand surface down, it would look like this because it's covered by, this grassy natural area. Okay, so the next thing I did was I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put what is going to be the bunker. So I'm going to use sand. I'm going to use a brush. I like this brush. And then I think I'll put a little like this way, and then here. Then I'll make the brush a little different shape, kind of here. I'll go like that. You know, again, kind of just undefined, but definitely sand areas. I can even use a different brush just for fun. And okay. So now I've done that. So this is where this video's idea came from, is now I got to get rid of all these bunkers. And I could select each one and delete it. And then select this one and delete it. But that's kind of a pain. So rather than doing that, I'm going to go here. I'm going to click my left stick. Boop. And then see where it says bunker, bunker, bunker. I'm going to delete. I'm going to check those off. Then I'm going to move. It will not get rid of your selection if you move. Just don't hit the back button or B or I think it's circle on PlayStation. Bunker. And then there's a couple over here. That should be everybody. Then you go to selective items. Selected. I keep saying selective. Selected items, delete. And they're all gone. That just saves so much time. And then I can come in here and work my, sculpting of these bunkers as such. I'm going to do a lot of this work off camera later, but I wanted to show you that selection tool. It's so cool that you can do that. And just kind of, select what you need. Like, let's say I was over here and I didn't like the way this looked. So I could come back here to the very first menu, and then I could click the left stick and then select any of these that I want. So let's say I don't want this dirt. Okay, it's gone. Let's say I don't want this sand. Okay, it's gone. And I can decide what I want to get rid of. And then I can go here. I could copy those selection too. I could move, but we're going to delete. And they're gone. And just like that, they're gone. All right. And that's just, it's a really cool feature, very, very much a quality of life feature that we have here with that. What does a tee shot look like? I could still see all of that. I think I may put some more. So let's say I want to do that. I'm going to go like here, like this, and then I can put some more sand. Right? And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and, oops, not that one. Still sand, brush, use this one. I like this one. And then just kind of put some more. So you see it doesn't really, you're not going to get full on sand like that. Full sand, get it? But you will get, kind of a blend into the grass a little bit. And then also I want to put some dirt. I'm going to move my dirt way down because I could use a little bit more intensity on this dirt. Again, I'm just trying to dirty this up a little bit, make it look more natural. And then even like on the kind of lip of this bunker, I could put some dirt. One of the things I don't like about all this terrain painting is you see all the really white shiny things, that's rock. And oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't want to do that. The rock is, is tough to get rid of and is really tough on the players because if you hit a little area like that with the golf ball, it's going to bounce, to heaven and back. So you want to be a little careful with that. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to do, and, this obviously needs some more work. I'll get back to that another time. The other thing I want to do is a quick kind of review, or maybe you have never used this before, about hiding or locking objects, terrain objects, or any objects for that matter, so that you can then, like, I'm going to copy and paste all this grass, right? So I would go here, I would click the left stick, area select. Oh my gosh, that's not grass. That's all of the surface stuff that I just selected. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit Y for manage filters. Why? Because I don't want to select them. And then surface edits. And you could do water and, of course, layout and all that other thing. And you can lock objects so you're not like objects here. I would do trees, right? Because oops, no, I didn't mean to do that. Objects, trees, I hit the X button because I don't want to select some of these trees that I've buried when I select my grass, right? But surface edits is really what we're worried about. We're going to go down here to weathering, lock it with the X button, or I believe that's square on PlayStation. I'm going to lock all of these, including heavy rough, because I have put some heavy rough around here. I don't want to select that by accident. And now I can go here, do area select. I don't want to be that big. And I'm going to select that patch of grass. I don't want to select too big of a patch of grass because then your computer starts to be like, dude, what are you doing to me? Go to selected items. Hey, I said it right this time. Copy. We're going to put it right here. Then I go selected items, copy. I'm going to put that one right here. Then you can rotate it, do whatever you like to do in terms of just making it look good. I'm going to try not to overlap too much. I'll fill in, if the grass doesn't look quite right, I'll fill that in later. And then I'm going to show you another really cool thing you can do to make the grass look even better. So I'm using my sand that I've put down. I'm using the dunes as a guideline because I don't want grass in the dunes, so to speak. So we're going to just use that as a guide, and I'm going to copy and paste all this stuff over here. And, again, I'm not trying to be super fine about it. All right, so this grass is yellow. Why is that? Because there's surface weathering here. And you can put surface weathering on a surface that won't show it, like this stuff, right? Well, I'm getting a little stuttering already with all this grass here. So I can go to here, create surfaces, surface weathering tool. I'll use this brush. I'm going to pop this down because I don't want this to be like super yellow. And then I can just kind of cover it, spam the button here a little bit. And it'll turn the grass whatever color I like. Pretty nifty. I love that it does that. Here's grass that I planted to copy and paste originally. All right, so here's another area. I don't want this grass to be that green. Pop this down. Just yellow it up a little bit. And, you could do as much or as little as you want. I could put this up on 100, and then that is very yellow. And I don't hate that, actually. But let's, for sake of, just making it a little more uniform, kind of yellow some of this up real good. And, part of using these tools is to use them in moderation so that not everything looks exactly the same, because in nature, not everything looks exactly the same. You know, some grass might be greener than others. Some grass might be yellower than others. I don't know, maybe a dog peed in it, and so now that grass is, you know, yellower than the other stuff. So those are just some of the advanced tools that you can use. Keep in mind when you're doing terrain painting, you know, once you've put a surface down, any additional surface that you put, even if it's at 100%, is not going to show through at 100%, right? So like if I put dirt here, dirt shows a little better. Okay, and the only reason that it shows that much is because this, oh, I have it, see, I can't even select the spline because I have it hidden. So let me unhide it, or let me unlock it, I should say. First is going to be to hide it altogether. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I can go here and like this spline, for example, if I go to edit, I can see what the intensity is. So I have this intensity set at 68, which means that when I do put some of this other stuff, the dirt and the sand, it will show a little bit. And that's what I want. So those are just things to keep in mind when doing some of the more advanced stuff that you can do here. And I mean, you can really have fun kind of experimenting with this. You know, maybe I'll have the grass that's a little closer to the golf course be greener. You know, and then the stuff that's further away be yellower. And then you can go back and delete these things. You can go back and select. You can come here and you can say, I want to select stuff. Oh, you can't select. Oh, because I have it hidden. Duh. Hold on. Right, so I can go here. Surface weathering is gone. Surface weathering is back. So I can go here and I can select all of this surface weathering that I just did and I can change it. So, you know, nothing's permanent. You know, we also do have an undo, so that's good. We like that. And yeah, so I hope this helps. If it does, you know, go ahead and leave a comment, you know, like, subscribe, all that happy jazz. And, you know, let me know if you want to see anything else in the designer, like how to do this, that, or what have you. You know, I am happy to oblige when I can. And happy designing, everyone. Take it easy. I'll see you next time. I'm out.